Hello, everybody, and welcome back to No Weak Sauce, the cancer YouTube channel where it's just that cancer and everything about it. This week, I want to do a little bit of like an origin story, a little bit about me, and in order for you to really kind of understand where I'm coming from and what I'm talking about, I feel like you need to know my story. So I'm going to be very open, I'm going to be very honest, and I'm going to let you know a lot of things about me. So here we go. Episode 2 of No Weak Sauce, the origin story. So in January of 2018, I was at a point in my life where I wasn't very happy with who I was turning into. I was out of shape. I was a little bit depressed, and it was just time for me to go to the doctor and just kind of just take care of some things. So I went in January, and I had decided that I was going to start running again. So we went in, we checked all of my blood work, and they said your cholesterol's high. Legitimately, January 2018, they said your cholesterol's high, you should change your diet, you should, start working out. That sounds like a great idea. And why don't you come back in 7 or 8 months, and we'll see how everything's going from then. So at that point, I quit chewing, I quit drinking. I did get myself on a little bit of some antidepressants to try to get my mood back to where I wanted it to be. And then I started working out again, which I really think was one of the best things that I had ever done. So that year, in January 2018, I ran a half marathon. I ran a 20K, which is just short of a half marathon. I ran a couple 5Ks, and I ended up running a 10K was the last race that I ran. And I had signed up for a full marathon. That was my goal that year, was to do a full marathon by the end of the year. And as things progressed, I got into about August, later in the fall. I got done working out. My last 10K run was the last big race that I had scheduled up to the full marathon, which was later in the fall, like October-ish, October, November. It was a later race, so it gave me plenty of time. So I stopped, gave myself 2 weeks off at the end of June to kind of give myself a little bit of a break before I started getting back into a full swing of a full marathon. So July starts working out, and I am just dog tired. I can't run 5 miles. I'm not running 8:15 miles like I had been before. My first marathon, a half marathon that I ran this year, was 8:15 miles. Some of the best times I've ran. The 20K I ran later on, it was terrible weather conditions, and it just wasn't a good race. But regardless, it was still sub 9-minute miles, So good times. I was very proud of that, especially those 8:15s. I was very proud of those 8:15s. But either way, so I started getting back in July, and I can't make 9-minute miles. I'm really dog tired, and it's July though. I did take a couple weeks off. July is not a great time to be outside in Iowa where I live. The humidity is terrible, so I chalked it up to a lot of that. I chalked it up to the middle of the summer. Kids are running everywhere. Jobs got me running everywhere. A lot of different things. We got a lot of things going on in our lives, and it was a busy summer that year. So that's how July kind of goes through a few things here or there. August turns around, and my mouth is just absolutely killing me. I've had just problems with my wisdom teeth for a long time, and it was one of those things where I always just kind of put it off. It hurts like once every 4 years or something, and I would deal with the pain, then I put it off, deal with the pain, then put it off. So finally this time I said, you know what? Forget about it. We're going to take care of it this time. So I go in and right before I have a big vacation, and I go to the dentist and I say, hey, I got to get this taken care of. They're like, here's the deal. When you get back from vacation, we will rip your wisdom teeth out. I said, great, let's make this happen. So the entire time I'm on vacation, we go up to the Black Hills in South Dakota, and we go up there, and we climb the tallest peak, and we playing around the mountains and all that good jazz. And I get to a point where we start going back down the mountain. It's me and a couple of my cousins. They're younger than me. One had done cross country, the other one, 20-something. So they're like half running down this mountain. And I'm definitely getting winded on the way down. Now, I've been on a whole bunch of Tylenol, a whole bunch of ibuprofen, Probably didn't drink as much as I should have as far as hydration goes. Just a lot of different things, right? So that's what I was chalking it up to. But I would be lying to myself if I was not winded going on the way down, to the point where I was like, man, I ran 2 half marathons. Like, I should not be this tired, right? But I was. So, didn't think anything of it. I was just going to say the pain in my teeth, right? So I get back from the Black Hills and I get my wisdom teeth taken out. And this is the first time I've gone under. This is one of the first few times in my life I've taken painkillers. I mean, I was out of it. I was not in sorts at all. So either way, I do this. I get my painkillers. I get my wisdom teeth taken out. And it's just awful. It's terrible. I get the dry sockets. Just, I feel like dirt. And that's what I'm chalking everything up to at this point, is that I just got my wisdom taken out, and it's bad. It's a bad time. I was having trouble mowing the lawn. Like, for a consistent period of time, I couldn't mow the lawn. I would take breaks, like 3 breaks while mowing the lawn. I never have taken a break while mowing the lawn, but I was taking 3 breaks a spot. I couldn't drink anything. I couldn't eat as much as should have. Like, my mouth just hurt, and I was blaming everything on getting my wisdom teeth taken out. And that just made logical sense to me, right? Like, I've never had anything like this before, and that's what I was chalking it up to. So, get to the middle of September. I got people looking at me, they're like, Tony, you look bad. Like, your color's bad. You just don't look good at all. And I was like, yeah, I know, it's these wisdom teeth. They're killing me. The dry sockets hopefully are going to take care of themselves here soon. And I just need to eat more and drink more. I'm an old wrestler, so I mean, I've gotten to the point where I've probably cut some weight a little too hard than I should have. And I've probably, stressed my body out when it comes to food. So I felt that. I was feeling being tired, lethargic, and things of that nature. Like, just, it wasn't me, but I was chalking it up again to the teeth. So middle to the end of September, we got a big project at work. I'm the project manager, a week away from home, and my mouth is done. It's completely done. I'm getting a canker sore. First time in my life I've ever had a canker sore. I got it swelling in my throat going on. Just awful. Just an awful, awful experience. So I finally go in to a emergent care in a city, and I said, hey, listen, I need a Z-Pack. I feel awful. A Z-Pack's going to make me feel better. Like, I didn't let them really do any doctor stuff to me. I just said, this is what I need. Give it to me. And that's essentially what happened, right? So I get the Z-Pack, and I get a bunch of stuff for a canker sore. I get to the point where I cannot even drink a shake. All right, like a chocolate shake. I got a big chocolate shake one day, and that's what I wanted, just to eat, because I hadn't eaten anything in so long. And I'm almost crying trying to get a chocolate shake. Like, who cries eating a chocolate shake? That is the most absurd thing ever. Like, why is chocolate and ice cream making me cry? It was so bad. It was awful, right? So finally, I make the decision on that Friday of my week-long work project. I show up to the work site. The guy's there like, Tony, you look awful. You need to go home. So that's what I do. I drive 3.5 hours back to my house. I get to a rest area on my trip, and I decide that I need to go to the bathroom. So I go inside, and when I come back outside, I am so tired from just walking in, going to the bathroom, and walking back out that I have to take an 1.5-hour nap in a 3-hour car ride. A drive that I make all the time. 3 hours is nothing. I've been in the car. I'm a windshield warrior, right? And I've been in the car for a long time, and I do lots of driving. And I walked into a restaurant, and I walked back out, and I had to take a 3-hour nap. That's when I knew something was really, really wrong. So I called my wife up and I said, hey, babe, I need you to get me a doctor's appointment now. When I get home tomorrow, in network, out of network, I don't care. Find me a doctor. I need to go. So She got home from work that day. I beat her at home. I was just laying on the couch, and she said, "You need to go upstairs and just lay down on the couch. I'll take care of the kids." And she does that, and then she gets the kids to a football game. She gets up stairs, and she looks at me, and she says, "We're just going to go to the emergency room right now." And I said, "Okay, we're going to go to the emergency room right now." And that's very uncharacteristic of me. I don't go to the doctor. I don't. I'm very anti-doctor for most of my life. But I just knew that something was wrong, really wrong. Now, I just thought it was my mouth. I thought I needed a couple painkillers. I needed an IV because I was dehydrated and I hadn't been eating properly. I needed a mouthful of painkillers and I needed some IVs, and I was going to be fine, right? Well, I wasn't fine. I go in, they take my blood, and my white blood count was through the roof, and my hemoglobin was 3.4. And yeah, and that's not a mistake for all of you out there who's saying, "Oh, you don't have 3.4s." It was a 3.4. And the nurse walked in and she said, "We only see this in cases of cancer, and we see it in leukemia, and we see it in bone marrow cancer." Is essentially what they said, and that was the first inkling I had that it might have been cancer. The next podcast, or the next, excuse me, not podcast, the next YouTube channel, the next time we do this, I'll talk more about that moment, from there on out. But 2018, from January to September 22nd, when I was diagnosed, that was kind of my life. I had made a lot of changes in my life. I was in some of the best health in my life, which was great because of the battle that was coming up. But that's where I was, and I had made a lot of good decisions, and I was feeling a lot better about myself. But when did I know that I had cancer? That's something that a lot of people ask me, and the answer is, and I did not know. Looking back, obviously, hindsight is what it is. Not being able to run those races or run those miles like I used to, and being dog tired, maybe in July, could have been some red flags. Not being able to make it down that mountain as fast as some other people could have been some red flags. Not being able to mow the lawn after I had my wisdom teeth taken out probably could have been some red flags. All of those things, looking back now, of course, I say, well, those were definitely, that was because my hemoglobin was dropping. That's because I had no oxygen getting to my body, or not nearly as much oxygen as I should have getting to my body. But I didn't know. And, people saying your color and your face just looks awful, and you just look awful, and just being as lethargic as I was, all now present themselves as red flags to me. But at the time, I didn't know. Like I said, I walked into the hospital that day, and I thought that I just had an abscess, or I had something in my mouth, this canker sore thing, and that the dental work or something was wrong. But I definitely did not know that when I walked into the hospital, that room, that my life would be changed forever. Like I said, we'll talk more about that in this next YouTube channel. But that's kind of a little bit of my origin story. That's where I came from. That's kind of who I am. Now, at that point, No Weak Sauce kind of started there. That's where we all start, is right there. And I hope you really enjoy the rest of the journey, because there's a lot of things I want to talk about. I've kind of thought that I'm going to do a little bit of a chronological thing, and I'm also going to do just a little bit, maybe like a hop forward to what I'm doing now and how I feel now, and things that are going through my mind as a survivor, and things that I deal with, and I think things that a lot of cancer survivors deal with. So I'm going to kind of jump back and forth a little bit on this, but I do still plan on doing kind of like a chronological vlog of my life and my cancer journey. So other than that, I hope you enjoyed the second episode of No Weak Sauce. To all of you out there fighting cancer, to all of you out there who this is part of your life, and those caregivers and the people who support, thank you. And be strong and just beat cancer. All right? We can do it. We've done it. I've done it. You've done it. We'll continue to fight together as a community. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. No Weak Sauce. Let's have a great day.